Hi, welcome to Africa in SA, a podcast sharing real life African experiences in South Africa, breaking stereotypes, and having an honest conversation about life in South Africa. And today I've got a guest by the name Domingos Antonio. Domingos, could you kindly please introduce yourself to our guest?
Well, I go by the name of Domingos Antonio. I live in Cape Town, South Africa, and it's been years, man. So there's too many life experiences actually. So we're about to just talk about all the narratives uh, and perception and how people think.
All right, cool. Perhaps give the viewers a background in terms of your life, where you come from, what do you do in South Africa currently?
Well, well, I came from Angola. I grew up here since the age of probably 5,
Mhm.
and it's been in the 90s, you
Okay.
know. So South Africa hasn't been bad at all. It's been great, you know. It's just the mindset of people and how they create their own perceptions upon
Okay.
the next person, you see. So otherwise, I would say things have been great,
Okay.
despite there's a minority of people that have some sort of mindset,
Okay.
you know.
All right. And then what brought you to South Africa?
Well, it was by far my father's choice. We fled the war, so I didn't make that decision. My parents did, and obviously it was the right decision to make. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that you miss about home? And maybe explain to us in terms of the journey from Angola to South Africa, if you still remember.
So from a 5-year old, from what I can remember was, you know, I know that we flew in I think it was a military plane, and then there was a river that we had to cross by a canoe. That we used we they used the canoe, but now things were said about the rivers in like if you fall in you drown. So imagine the risk that we had to take just for us to find our freedom, from what was happening back home. So yeah.
And then in terms of the expectations in South Africa, did you have any expectations and has those are those expectations been met?
you know um I would say that none of those expectations have been met, because if you're a foreigner, as
Let's start with the expectations, and then you can explain whether they were met or not.
well, look, opportunities are always there. um it takes a person to try to
Mhm.
go and get those opportunities. But so far, so good. I've decided to do my own thing, of which is me creating something for myself. You understand? So so far, so good. You know.
Okay. So in comparison to Angola and South Africa, what's are the have you ever experienced any culture shock?
Well, to say for me to compare,
Hmm.
I wouldn't been able to do it, because coming to South Africa
Hmm.
at a young age and having visions of vivid visions of visions as how home is like,
Yeah.
I would not be able to really compare the two. Besides of the things that I watch and the things that I've learned about back home,
Okay.
there's always a 60-40
Percentage.
perceptions
Yeah.
in mind. So I can't really. I'll give you what I can think of, but
Mhm.
it might not be from on the same perspective as the person that came from back home.
Yeah.
Things,
Yeah.
you see.
All right.
So
Okay. And then in terms of your struggle in South Africa, what was your first struggle in South Africa as a foreign national?
wow, in South Africa, they don't basically, there are rules. Let's say in some countries, if you are there for a certain amount of years and then they're obliged to give you the right papers. And then here, it's like they play a puzzle game with you. It's like tick for tack, whereby you I from, let's say, from the 90s, from 95, being here,
96, I think. Yeah.
or 90s, yeah,
Based on the last conversation we had, yeah,
yeah.
96.
So being here, paper wise, it's a dramatic chaos. You know, they do not follow the rules that are even meant to be followed.
What are those rules? Maybe we can start from there. For those who do not understand the immigration rules. And when you came to South Africa, did you come as did you come sort of as a visitor or you came as a refugee? What was the procedure like? Were
Take
you documented when you came to South Africa?
No,
Okay.
take it from what I said. We fled a war,
Yeah.
of which
Hmm.
every nation's in Africa or around the
Yeah.
world understands that. So we fled the war, but coming into South Africa, it's you know the Home Office based system. People are not just following the rules by means of, like, when you were in a certain country and you stay for the time period of 5 years, you are allowed to get your citizenship.
But don't you think it depends on how you came into the country before you are eligible to a permanent resident? Because
You
as
know,
far as I'm concerned, in South Africa, as long as you've been in South Africa for minimum 5 years and you've had a valid passport and visa, you
mm,
basically are eligible to qualify for a permanent resident. But however, if you came as a refugee, it's a different story. I think they basically created a new law a few years ago
mm,
for foreign nationals who are using refugee permits
mm,
for them to be eligible for permanent resident if they've been in the country for a minimum of 5 years. So I guess when you came to South Africa, that law was not into effect as
mm,
yet.
mm, mm,
So I think it came into effect at a later stage, and
mm,
that is why there were a lot of complications for you to be able to qualify for a permanent resident. Because I mean, based on what I know, is that with Angolians, I think in 2012 or 2013, that is when the South African government decided to meet up with the United Nations and the Angolan government to basically provide what they call an ASP,
mm.
which was called, I think, an Angolan special permit.
Yeah,
So they ended the entire refugee type of documentation for
yeah.
Angolan nationals because obviously there's no more war in Angola.
Mm,
So since then, Angolans were actually eligible to apply for their nationalities, which includes their passports, and apply for the South African visa.
yeah,
And I think at the time the visa was for 2 years. And then
2 years. Yeah.
after that, they were eligible to reapply for another visa, which was then 4 years. So
Mm,
if you basically do a sum, it's 2 years plus 4 years, which is 6 years.
yeah.
And then after that 6 year period, Angolians were then now eligible to apply for a permanent resident, which many people did apply for the permanent resident. This is just to give the viewers more context and more information
Mm, mm.
in terms of that element. Yeah, and then so what like I want to understand in terms of experience. What was your first experience experiencing a discrimination in South Africa? Could you maybe give me details in terms of that?
Wow. There are names, name
Hmm.
callings. I
Hmm.
mean, I would take it as a black on black hate.
Okay.
There are name callings, which I would I wouldn't even mention. Um, people label you.
For the sake of those who are maybe in Ghana, in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, who have never been to South Africa.
Mm.
So I think it will be fair if you maybe just give them a clue, yeah, just to give them more
Well,
context.
name calling, they will call you a makwerekwere,
Okay.
or um, but to a funny thing is that some of us, we haven't even figured out what really it means, but it from my thinking is
Hmm.
this: when you speak your language and then they don't understand, it's almost like birds just speaking to
Hmm.
each other. So they just gave that name, you
Yeah.
know. And to say, what do you think? You know, there's like so many things that you can actually grasp to
Mhm.
with the job situations,
Yeah.
and then people talk about their women. Look, man,
Yeah.
we all Africans, we basically, if you came from somewhere
Hmm.
and you go, you even if you didn't come from somewhere, you are still looking for a living.
Yeah.
Even if you are a foreigner, you're still a human being enough to look for a living.
Yeah.
So we all fighting the same thing, but at the end of the day, what are we doing is
Hmm.
we're turning on each other,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's actually an interesting point because I do believe that South Africans do not, they tend to not understand as to
Mm,
why foreign nationals are in South Africa.
mm,
Because I do believe that it is human nature for you to actually find greener pastures when
mm,
it's not working out in your country of origin.
mm.
Because obviously, back in the days, our ancestors basically migrated
Yeah,
to different parts of Africa based
exactly.
on the weather conditions, for example. So, for instance, if it's actually extremely hot where we are right now, and some of them decided, okay, cool, we're actually looking for a place where there's a shade,
Mm,
and they migrated to that particular place, and others remained. And I think that is how language also evolved and
yeah,
changed.
yeah.
So, hence why when you speak an African language, you'll be able to identify a few words that are basically similar to other African languages. So, I think that was basically a valid point to raise. So, I want to know what has been the hottest part of living in South Africa?
Wow. You know, the renting situations whereby you know, the renting situations whereby you find yourself as a person, you do have the paper, but it's never the right paper. Even if you have the money, you can't afford the house, you know, so you end up just renting, paying someone
What do
else's
you
bills
mean?
off,
What do
you
you mean
know.
you can't afford the house if you have the right papers and the
Well,
money
if you have this A4, what they call it, the CTR,
for the
or
refugees?
yeah,
Mhm.
at the back at that time we had that. And imagine, come on, you and your kids, your 1 year old, your 2 year old, your 5 year old, waking up 2 a.m. to go and
Mhm.
stand in a line at a place at Home Affairs that's going to open at 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
I've been there.
Mhm.
My brother's been there, you know. And your kids are falling asleep as they're standing in line. No matter what is the weather, you
Mhm.
are standing in that line, you know. And it's a push and shove situation where as soon as they're open, it, to some point, if I look at the conditions that they put us on, it's so. And you go to a certain farm, and then you look at how the chickens are running around.
Mhm.
That's how they treated us, you know. You, it's like you're on a farm and then everyone is just running wild. There's no adjustment to the system. And you come out when they open, and they come out, you, whether how you can be how old, it's like they treat you like a child,
Mhm.
you know. It's like school when when your teacher comes out and say, hey, stand in line and whatnot. That's how you are treated.
Mhm. Okay.
But the person that treats you that way is forgetting that as well. You're a human being as much as they are.
Mhm.
You matter too.
Mhm.
So experiencing that, it's you know, feeling the way I feel right now is that after I got my papers right, and I do not even I can only imagine of the past and
Mhm.
how standing in those lines feels. I haven't been in those lines for a long time.
Okay.
So yeah, that is,
Mhm.
it's a disappointing thing, you know, like it's something that needs to be put out there.
Okay.
You,
Okay.
we
Interesting.
cannot keep quiet about it,
Yeah.
you know.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Those are human beings. If you can create an appointment for this nation and that nation,
Mhm.
maybe we can sort something out. But you can't have people standing in the rain and then waiting for A4 papers and such stuff, you know. So yeah, man.
All right, guys, if you're watching, please do subscribe on our channel so that we can actually be more motivated to produce the content that you guys love. Please do click the subscription below, and yeah, we're gonna keep on producing more content. Please do so. Have you experienced xenophobia directly or indirectly?
Well, I would say directly
Okay.
because from when it started, we were the area this is a certain area. It's called Lost City,
Mhm.
and then
Which year was that?
I what year
Are
was
you
it?
referring to the first xenophobia, right?
The first
Okay,
one,
that
yes,
was in 2007. Yeah,
the first
27,
one.
2007. Yeah.
Um, I think it was the second one.
2007. That's the first one, 2007.
Sorry, we were in staying in an area called Lost City, South of Surf in Mitchell's Plain area. Well, you gotta know Mitchell's Plain is very big.
Yeah.
So, staying there and the street, the community, the people from the community say no, they're not gonna do that.
Mm.
But because parents being parents and the being people, human beings as well,
Mm.
having a fear as well, so they decided no, we're not gonna be here for that. So my experience was, I, I was young, you know. Um, we had to pack the important things that we had, such as documents. You know, mothers always want to save their flat
Mm.
screen TVs and stuff like that. So we had to pack things, important things like that. And then we had to basically we drove to Cape to town, and then we parked in town and slept in the car. There was a family friend that lived in town that we had to just crash in there by them. I mean, that creates trauma for a child, you know.
Definitely.
It then it becomes to up to you as a person whether you want to understand these people for what they're doing, or it just creates some certain uh, feeling upon you, you know.
Mm.
So we've heard so and so was put on a train line, and then the train just drove there. So and so was burned, and such things. It creates trauma. You know, we don't really have it that easy
Mm.
until our own brothers decide to come to the right mind and say, "Hey, man, we're only fighting ourselves. We're not gonna look back at history right now, but we are only
Mm.
fighting ourselves, and
Mm.
we only hating ourselves."
Mm.
Maybe you that's watching there, you don't even know if I'm family, you know, because we were spread out like that.
Yeah.
So think
Okay.
about it.
Okay. All right. So how do you deal personally with discrimination or exclusion?
You know, sometimes it depends on how you wake up in the morning. That's the first thing. If you wake up feeling good,
Mm.
you will feel good and just ignore. But if you wake up feeling broken from some sort of situation, and then you're going to react to it, you know, that name calling words that came to mind, I've dealt with it so much, you know. Sometimes you have an outburst
Yeah.
of which it's not a good thing to do, but at the same time you defending yourself is kind of like defending your own dignity, you
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
because when you let things go, and then people intend to say it this over and over again, but forgetting they have a name that they were also given,
Mhm.
but we don't use that name
Mm.
on black, that specific name, the K word, we don't use it black on black,
Mm.
you know. It's not like the word nigger, and the next black person is using it. No, we do that kafir word, we don't even use it on black.
Mm.
But black in South Africa will use the what you call the query word
Mhm.
against you.
Yeah.
So that makes you feel like, you know, some type of way. It's almost like
Mm.
you are light skinned than him or something like that, and then they just use that
Mm.
word.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's a
Mhm.
It's all in the mindset.
Yeah.
You see.
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned a series of events that
Hmm.
basically contributed to where you are currently,
Mm.
and how those events made you feel. What are some of the support systems that you have in place that basically helped you to actually grow in South Africa?
Well, you got if you got family for a start. You got family. With those all of those events that had happened, you gotta understand one thing is that I was young. The only thing I could think of. I got family. They never ran away in terms of as
Mm,
xenophobia or whatnot. That they never ran away from that because you know that is family.
okay.
I would not talk about friends because I was young. You understand? So
Any organizations maybe
uh,
that played a pivotal role in terms of helping you guys survive and grow in South Africa?
survival paper wise,
Hmm.
Scalabrini
Okay.
played a major role
Shout
for.
out to Scalabrini Center.
Yeah, they played a major role. Without them, I don't think anything would have happened for us as we are here right
Mm.
now. You know, they showed they went all out.
Mhm.
They went all out for us, and yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah. All right, cool. What do you do in South Africa currently?
Well, currently I am. Well, look, I'm I'm hustling on my own, creating my own
Mhm.
jobs
Okay.
basically.
Like,
You
could you
know,
maybe explain?
I do gearbox
Okay.
rebuilding. So I've decided that I am not gonna put myself in a position of like being, let's say, you don't want to be underpaid.
Okay.
Being, because you go to come to places and then either they judge you according to who you are because the
Mhm.
mindset tells
Mhm.
them this, that okay, a foreign person is going to work so hard, then I'm going to give him this much.
Mhm.
You understand?
Who are you
But
referring to?
I'm referring to people, like to bosses
Okay.
that likes to employ only foreigners.
Mhm. Who
you
are
know
those bosses?
well, look, not to mention names, not to mention names,
No,
but
you don't have to mention names, but maybe just give our viewers a clue. Is it black people? Is it whites? Is
w-
it coloreds,
it, it
etc.?
it will be colored.
Coloreds, okay.
Yeah.
But coloreds do not own businesses, though.
Well,
It's usually white people.
some of them do. You gotta understand. In South Africa, there's a percentage
Hmm.
of people that own things. Maybe not to the extreme,
Hmm.
or let's say mainstream,
Hmm.
right? But they own. There are
Hmm.
those that owns things, and when they see, okay, black, okay, I will give you this much
Hmm.
for the week or the
Hmm.
month. Oh, colored, I cool. I'll give you even more for this week. I've experienced. I'm not talking out of
Hmm.
not experiencing, but
Hmm.
I've experienced that.
Okay.
So hence why I can say I understand it and I know it.
Hmm.
They pay you according, because they know one thing: you are working towards your rent,
Yeah.
and rent is something that hits us the most.
Hmm.
Since it depends on what papers you got,
Yeah.
what qualifications you have, or what type of job you have, your income. If you can get a house with the right papers
Hmm.
as well, then you're good for.
Okay.
But if you can't, you end up paying someone's bond
Okay.
for, I don't know how long, so so it is.
Yeah. A quick question: are we taking South Africans' jobs?
Not really,
Okay.
because
How
we're
so?
creating them.
Okay.
You know, most of us are creating them.
Mhm.
Um, it's
Are you creating jobs for South Africans, or are you self-employed, creating jobs for yourselves?
look, with I'll put it as a whole, right? Foreigners.
Hmm.
When you speak of foreigners, you gotta be careful with that,
Hmm.
especially Black South Africans. When you speak of foreigners,
Mm.
a white man from England is also a foreigner. A Chinese is also a foreigner. A Pakistani is also a foreigner. Don't just look at your black brother because he ran away from war and then you say that is a foreigner.
Mm,
No, every white person, every Chinese, every Indian, wherever they came from, they are
mm,
foreigners.
mm,
So don't just think and then say, oh, that black one is a foreigner. And believe you me, they
mm.
get their permanence and their papers before us.
Yeah.
They get it just like this. While you're still thinking, oh, these guys are staying here. No,
Mhm,
they get it just like that before us. So it's a whole maze game that
mm,
it's being played out here.
mm,
But I thank the system for considering us, and I really thank Scalabrini for standing up for us because if,
mm,
without them, the system would have forgotten us.
mm.
You know,
But do you thank South Africa for keeping us here?
well, we came from a tragedy,
Hmm.
something that hit us hard.
Hmm.
Um, so we gotta thank them and say, hey, look, man, we thank you for keeping us here.
Hmm.
You know, it's almost like going to someone's house. They keep you for 3 months,
Hmm.
and the fourth month they start talking shit about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like that.
Okay.
We are home, but you sometimes the things people say make us feel like we're not home.
Mm.
This is Africa.
Yeah.
We are one.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. All right. Given an opportunity to actually go back home
Hmm.
to Angola, would you go?
Well, I'll take that with both hands.
So what's stopping you currently?
You know, financial situations
Mm.
it's not stable. You
Okay.
know, sometimes you gotta think about what you're taking with you
Hmm.
because it's been so many years. It's been so many years. You have to bring something home. It's like coming from a jungle,
Mm.
going hunting, and coming home with
Mhm.
empty-handed, or you come home with a what you call a impala or
So
something. So you
how
gotta
much
come.
how much would you say you need in order for you to go back home? Because obviously, I mean, South Africans are stressing so much that these people need to go. It's enough now. You guys have to go back to wherever you come from. How much do you need? If there's a South African right now who says,
Hmm.
"Okay, cool, I want you to go back home. This is I'm willing to give, I'm willing to give you 10 grand or 20 grand." How much? How much do you think will be enough for you to say, "Okay, cool, I'm packing my bags. I'm going home."
Well, that needs to be calculated. I would say probably like 20, 25 grand.
Okay.
That look, that's gonna be reasonable enough for you to be able to get home
Hmm.
and establish yourself. You must remember, in every person that's business minded, they need capital.
Yeah, of course.
So you need capital to go and start yourself right up because you can't get home into your grandmother's house or your mother's house and then you just there cooped up, taking space. Every space matters in the house.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Why do you think that certain businesses or industries are actually associated with certain African countries or foreigners? For instance, in terms of the petrol attendants,
Hmm.
so that job is basically associated with Malawians.
Hmm.
In terms of security guards, it's actually associated with Congolese. In terms of, let's say, businesses like your saloons, etc., it's also sometimes associated with Nigerians, etc., and spaza shops with Somalians in Pakistan. Why do you think that is the cause?
Well, look, man, it's all about trust issues.
Okay.
I wouldn't say a South African person doesn't want to work.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say that, but it all depends on the income. You
Hmm.
see, like I say, survival mode. A foreign person will take as low as he can,
Hmm.
or whatever can make him survive and be able for him to pay their rent.
Yeah.
They will take it. Obviously, South African will feel like, okay, if this person can take is accepting, for example, 2 5 for the week, and they want 3-5 for the week, they will let that job go,
Okay.
and the foreign person will gladly take
Mm.
it with two hands
Yeah.
because they need to pay rent.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like most other South Africans, they stay with their parents and whatnot. They have,
Yeah.
you look at in the location, they have maybe their own shack at the
Mhm.
back.
Yeah.
You're not paying rent.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't feel how the next person feel.
Mm.
So this person is going to take the minimum
Mm.
that they can take to make sure they survive.
Mm.
And that's just how life is.
Okay. Yeah.
You take what you can to survive,
Mhm.
because when they don't have, nobody's going to give it to them.
Yeah.
So the little that is there, you take it.
Okay. All right. Cool. In what ways is South Africa better than Angola? And also vice versa. In what ways is Angola better than South Africa?
You know, coming, like I say, coming from a young age, I haven't been there. Uh, okay, I was there, but it's almost like I haven't been there.
Hmm.
You know, looking at judging from online,
Hmm.
you know, we
So, judging from online and
mhm,
maybe the conversations that you've had in the past.
yeah.
Okay.
But look, I'm here. I can say this and that,
Hmm.
but I'm not there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I haven't been there.
Mm.
I
Okay.
I don't have that experience. I haven't been there, but I was very young coming here, so I just think that the advantage is the oil business,
Hmm.
that Angola has, and politic wise, um, the confidence of Angola is just dropped.
Hmm. Yeah.
The people are fighting the whole system, and the system is not really supportive towards their needs.
Hmm.
And well, I would say if they can ever be a political party that will take care of their own people,
Hmm.
maybe we will consider to go home and make some space for you guys that's complaining too much. So it's that's just how it is. Look, every foreign person wants to go home,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the problem is, if the government is not right, is
Mm.
not treating their
Yeah.
people good,
Yeah.
they're not gonna
Yeah.
go home.
Yeah.
Even you that's watching,
Yeah.
the day something happens here, you're gonna
Yeah.
go there,
Yeah. No, that's true.
and
Yeah.
you're gonna think the
Mm.
way we thinking. You're gonna want to come
Mm.
home,
For
but
survival.
because of your government,
Mm.
you're not gonna want to.
Mm.
You
Mm.
know,
Yeah,
that's
I
how I
mean,
feel.
you've basically touched on something that's very important.
Mm,
So basically, during apartheid, a number of African countries basically
mm,
supported South Africa.
yeah.
For instance, Tanzania helped South Africa in terms of training
Hmm.
the original Umkhonto Wesizwe
Yeah.
in terms of military,
Mm,
and obviously with refuge as well. And Nigeria contributed in assisting South Africa financially.
mm,
Likewise, Zimbabwe, Angola, that obviously helped South Africa in terms of military and refugee as well.
mm.
So, my question is, um, for the current government of South Africa, which is basically the ANC,
ANC.
the
Yeah.
African National Congress,
Yeah.
what can the ANC do to help certain African countries? Because obviously, the major issue that most of these African countries are having is actually dictatorship.
Mm,
It's a problem with the system of
mm,
oppression.
mm.
Okay, so what assistance do you think the ANC could possibly provide to foreigners living in South Africa to ensure that they actually go back home? Because obviously, the majority of South Africans, or rather, maybe a certain number of South Africans, want foreign nationals, particularly Africans,
Mm.
to actually go back home. So, what assistance do you think we need or deserve from the ANC government? Because obviously, we've obviously helped South Africa under apartheid as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it will be actually an opportunity for them to return the favor.
Mm.
In other words, yeah. So, what assistance do you think, or what can they do to ensure that people do not come to South Africa flocking?
Well, it's not about closing the borders.
Hmm.
It's not about not giving people visas.
Yeah,
It's about the government.
yeah.
So government must fix government's problem.
Hmm.
If the ANC can say, "Oh, okay, Angola, we're going to help you in your elections," then or speak to the government, fix the government.
Hmm.
We are not the problem. We're running away from the government. It's not like we're running away from the country.
Hmm.
We're running away from the government. The
Yeah.
government is the problem.
Mm.
That is our main problem. It's
Mm.
not the country.
Yeah.
The country is okay. It's just government,
Mm.
you know.
But what do you
So,
think South Africa can contribute towards that? I mean,
well,
being the most powerful African country in Africa.
I think that they need to when it's voting time,
Mhm.
they need to include themselves in there and say
I think
this.
they do actually. They do send a delegation of members of government to basically go and oversee whether the elections were actually fair.
Well, it seems like that delegation is not working
Mm.
because we had the previous guy that served for I think for 42
Yeah,
years,
for about 40 years. Yeah.
and then now we have somebody else who's serving. I mean, like it's going nowhere.
Mm.
We are just drowning and drowning and drowning
Do
till the
you
ship sinks.
do you think maybe if the ANC could maybe sanction the Angolan government, for
Mm.
instance, maybe close down the embassy, for example, and say, look, Angola, Zimbabwe, etc., Kenya, Uganda, we're not going to do business with you guys until you basically sort out your house, because obviously all these citizens from other African countries are flocking in South Africa. Do you think that could possibly help in making
Well,
sure that they cut ties with all these African countries? Because obviously, in my understanding, most of these government, the MPLA in Angola, whether it is ZANU PF in Zimbabwe, they basically are friends with the ANC because they've got one thing in common.
mm,
They are all liberational movements within Africa. And when ZANU PF wins, they actually celebrate the victory of the ZANU PF,
mm,
and same applies with the ZANU PF. When the ANC wins,
mm.
they celebrate the victory of the ANC in the name of we are the liberational movements of the continent.
Well, like they say, let bygones be bygones.
Yeah.
Um, if they can look, create a support system
Mm-hmm.
for the people, not for the government.
Mm-hmm.
So when the government oppresses its people,
Mm.
then each and every nation around in Africa need to oppress the government because that way we are not gonna say we're gonna flee into these other countries because we know now you oppress us as people and then this other government is going to oppress you, so you need to come right. It's basically a point of correction, you
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Correct whoever is wrong.
Okay.
Your people is running from your country, so which means you must be the problem.
Yeah. No, definitely.
It's not the
Yeah.
people,
It's the
it's
government.
you. So any government can think of it and say, hey, look, I'm going to have to correct you
Yeah.
because your people is coming to me.
Okay.
It's like your neighbor running from
Exactly.
their own
Yeah.
house. You know, why are you running? Now I would have to correct you that's in the house because
Mm.
you are creating the
Mm.
problem. So
Okay.
government needs to correct government.
Government. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Yeah. All right. Cool. What advice would you give someone who's in, let's say, Somalia, who's planning to come to South Africa to start up maybe a spaza shop, or someone who's in Zimbabwe who wants to come to South Africa? What advice would you give
Well, I'll tell you this: get ready for the long lines.
them?
Get ready to break your sleep at 3, 2 a.m. to just maybe you're gonna stand in line alone with 3, 4 people.
Mhm.
7 o'clock, you see 50 people standing in line till the line
Mhm.
goes to I don't know where. But get ready for
Mhm.
that. Business
And
wise,
yeah.
business wise, look, if your money is good, you're
Mhm.
gonna be all right. If your
Okay.
money is not good, you're gonna face hard
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
for the sake of time, what mistakes would you say they need to avoid? Quick one.
Um don't don't emerge your business with anybody. Start up from the ground up. Become who you vision yourself to
Mhm.
become.
Okay.
So yeah, just do you.
Okay.
Avoid anything, but just make sure you make the right decisions as well. Business wise, you just apply for business permits and stuff like that. So then you should be good,
Okay.
you know.
All right. Cool. If you could go back to the younger self, um, when you arrived in South Africa, what would you change?
Mm, wow. I'll change. Uh, wow. I can't change history for what happened.
Yeah.
I can't change that
But
at
is there
all.
anything you would change, maybe?
Not that I can think of right now. That's like
Okay.
a random uh, question, but I would basically tell myself to stay focused.
Okay.
Um, just focus on the right thing,
Okay.
especially with school and stuff like that. Just
Okay.
focus on the right thing.
All right.
I
Cool.
mean,
Quick one. This is basically fun and engaging. South Africa or home or Angola?
home.
Okay.
That's
Cool.
that's number one.
Okay.
Home.
One African leader you respect?
Um, Ibrahim Torre.
Okay. And then one myth that we need to stop believing in as Africans.
As opposing and hating each other because we are one.
All right, cool. One word to describe Africa's future.
It can be better than Europe
Okay.
if we all decide to come as one under one currency. We can make big things happen.
All right. And what message would you like to give to South Africans in closing?
South Africans, we are all brothers. We bleed red. We all the same. Um, yeah, we bleed red. We all the same. Don't take anything personal.
Mhm.
Learn to love your brother, your sister, whoever they are. Learn to love one another because at the end of the day, you are not breaking the system that had happened in the past. You are only breaking yourself.
Yeah.
So learn to love one another. That's the only way we can both go forward. Maybe our government is going to grasp from our love towards one another
Yeah.
and teach the next government to say, hey, look, stop it with this with your people.
Mhm.
Create fair win and then allow your people to come back home. That's the only thing you can do. We must just learn to love one another and accept one another. We're all struggling. We're not taking nobody's jobs. Nobody is woman.
Yeah.
A woman is a woman. A man is a man.
Yeah.
So we're not taking nothing from anybody.
All right, cool. Africans, there you have it. I mean, that was the episode basically with Domingos Antonio. Thank you so much for everyone who was actually watching, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please do subscribe, and until next time, thank you. Cheers. Bye. Yeah, yeah, that's it.